Google fixed its terrible hamburger emoji. Things are finally back to normal in the Googleverse after Google updated its abomination of a hamburger emoji. Some person who has clearly never eaten a cheeseburger was in charge of the emoji where the cheese was placed under the patty. Luckily, the burger got a proper facelift with the release of Android 8.1. The cheese is now on top of the patty where it belongs. The Google monstrosity was first brought to light over the Twitter sphere in a tweet with over 51,000 likes and 25,000 retweets. Google's cafeteria even got in on the action by offering Android burgers with the cheese below the burger. Yuck! They also made some other emoji tweaks like an updated filled beer stein as opposed to one half full, and a new cheese emoji with more realistic holes. Just Google it. Google is watching. Google has been collecting location data on Android phones even when the location services are disabled. Excuse me? Since January, all Android devices, even with location services disabled, have been sending cell tower addresses to Google. Devices with cellular data or Wi-Fi connection appear to send data each time they were in range of a new cell tower. Android devices without a SIM card but connected to a Wi-Fi network would still send tower addresses to Google. With user location data, cell towers could be used to triangulate location to around a quarter of a mile radius, and even closer in urban areas where cell towers are closer together. According to a Google spokesperson, the data was not used or stored, and that the company was taking steps to stop the practice by the end of November.
How do Google's self-driving cars work? For years, self-driving vehicles were considered futuristic and a thing of fantasy. However, with multiple companies pouring resources and money into the development of this technology, it may soon become a reality. And with some cities like Singapore pumping money into the development of autonomous vehicles, this may be the beginning of the end for human drivers. So, where exactly are we in terms of finally being able to actually use one? In a sense, autonomous cars are already a reality. Google's self-driving cars are fitted with a GPS receiving antenna, LiDAR remote sensing system, a video camera, and radars. Google's autonomous vehicles use GPS to match their position with customized Google Maps in order to select the best routes to take. Radars in the front and back of the car keep track of other vehicles on the road. The LiDAR sensor rotates 360 degrees and detects the distance between the car and surrounding objects. A video camera behind the car's front windshield is able to read road signs and traffic lights. This is not to say that the self-driving cars are ready for public use, as there are still a few important wrinkles to smooth out. A current flaw with Google's cars is that they require the roads they're traveling on to be precisely mapped out. Otherwise, the vehicle is unsure of how to behave. These maps are extremely detailed digitalizations of the physical world, where things like even the height of every single curb is measured out. There are also issues with the car's algorithms. In mid-February, a Google self-driving car failed to slow and hit a public bus because it expected the bus to yield. According to Wired, Google's cars have driven more than 1.3 million miles since 2009. As of January, they've been involved in 17 crashes, all of which could be blamed on human error. An impressive record that was ruined by the Google car that crashed into a bus last month. U.S. homes have huge solar potential. Google launched a project called Project Sunroof in 2015, which measures the solar potential of individual homes in the U.S. The results showed that most U.S. homes have great solar viability. Google says 79% of all U.S. rooftops are solar viable, which means 4 out of every 5 homes have enough unshaded area for solar panels to be installed. The result was calculated using 3D modeling of the homes and nearby trees to determine the amount of sunlight and shade the roof receives. In Hawaii, Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, more than 90% of the homes are solar viable, while in Pennsylvania, Maine, and Minnesota, only over 60% are viable. The project began in Boston, Fresno, and the San Francisco Bay Area. It has since expanded to every U.S. state, with about 60 million buildings across the country having been analyzed. Tech giant experimenting with signals 40 times faster than 4G. The Guardian reports that Google is experimenting with drones that could deliver internet speeds up to 40 times faster than 4G. The Google project called Skybender is using Spaceport America in New Mexico to experiment with delivering high-speed internet from the air using its 50-meter wingspan Titan drones. The drones are equipped with millimeter wave radio transmitters, a technology that could feature in next-generation 5G wireless internet. Optionally piloted Centaur aircraft are also being used. Millimeter wave technology has the potential to transmit gigabytes of data every second, with speeds up to 40 times faster than 4G internet. However, millimeter wave signals are absorbed by atmospheric gases, while rain and humidity can also reduce signal strength. Millimeter waves also travel via line of sight, which means they can be blocked by objects, including trees and buildings. The report says Google has permission from the Federal Communications Commission to continue testing in New Mexico until July.